I don't actually know how to answer this question.
Hey, and welcome to Topic Talk. I'm Jess, a survivor of chronic illness and your host. Cal is going to be with us today. If you can't see his enthusiastic eyes and smile and teeth today. This Topic Talk is about movies. And Cal, if you don't already know him, is a quirky, kind, and compassionate visionary who loves the sound of alliteration. A stroke survivor and the founder of our genius community. Cal, can you please tell us what movie has impacted you the most?
I was watching Legally Blonde, the Reese Witherspoon. It's like a 90s film, something like that. And it was on TV, and because we're in like our 15,000th lockdown, I was watching it maybe with.
Thought you'd watch it for the 15,000th time.
I was like, why not? And I was explaining it to my housemate, like to catch him up on the context of it. And it was really weird, but like he was like enjoying it, and it's kind of like funny that whole film, but like underneath Legally Blonde, which looks like this whole thing about like she's kind of misunderstood, and that her like currency is her looks and all of this stuff, and then she goes to Harvard and she's got a lot more to her really, which is what it's about. And I realized in this kind of epiphany of Reese Witherspoon and Legally Blonde that I was like, I love Legally Blonde. And I'm like, because it's a redemption story. It's like this story where the main character is perceived as something from its exterior, and then it goes through the challenges of like fighting against that exterior, and at the end blossoming into something that it even didn't think was possible. That is a live thought, ladies and gentlemen. But I was like, oh, it's a redemption story, and I'm obsessed with stories that have this like redeeming arc for a protagonist or a main character. And so I was like, I thought that I'd show you. Have you heard of Milk? I mean, that's like got a very political undertone to it, and it's very, I relate with it being a gay man, the plight of equality, gender, particularly in that era. But I really like that film. Really says a lot because he puts a lot on the line, and without giving away the plot of that, the redemption is like looking back at history and knowing what Harvey Milk put on the line for a greater purpose. So Milk, Legally Blonde, but then also Waiting for GUFFMAN. I don't know if you've heard of that, but a lot of peeps know Catherine O'Hara.
You got DVDs.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I just was like, I'm just making a catalog. I went on a date once, or had a date where the person was literally just coming into my house just before we went on this date. Anyway, the point is that they were like, questioned why I had so many DVDs, because obviously I was this mountain of DVDs. And I realized that different people at different age groups, generations don't understand DVDs. So I'm down for a DVD, just so you know. Like Netflix and chill is way too high tech for me. I'm like DVD and down. But Waiting for GUFFMAN has Catherine O'Hara from Schitt's Creek in it.
Oh, cool.
And the reason this impacted me is because it's like looking at amateur theatre world and the psychology of people that put on productions in like local community groups. And I was one of those people. I've been in them, I've directed them, I've been obsessed with them, which leads me to literally probably my favorite film of all time, The Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, there's something about like 90s films that are just like epic, and the journey of this one, which is literally about the redemption of Tim Robbins' character. It's so weird, like looking at them. It's all about these main characters who are misunderstood by their external forces beyond their control. So in this instance, it's about a crime, and being accused of a crime. In this instance, it's about projecting an identity that you want to have but may not have. Legally Blonde is all about exterior, sort of having this beautiful, hot, sexy veneer and being perceived as like a dull personality or someone with no intelligence.
No intelligence, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think I love those arcs of films that start with a character being perceived, and even you as the audience may sort of judge that character as something, but very quickly you're in the character's shoes and you're in their lens, and then you see the film through the people that misunderstand them. That's what's impacted me the most.
Yes, amazing. Well, they're quite a few different, they're very, very different films, but I love that you've found a common thread, and maybe that's something interesting to reflect on, for us all to think, okay, well, what are the films that really have impacted me, and what are those common threads? They're probably the same. They probably have like some sort of synchronicity or meaning in terms of your own hero's journey. So it's like those are the protagonists that you relate to, and that's, yeah, there's an underlying reason why you relate to them.
Totally. And it's funny. No, but it's true. It's funny because those films like are pre me having a stroke when I was 24, which is 12 years ago now. I've always felt like, I think like a lot of us, like a bit of an outsider, a bit on the outside, a bit misunderstood, a bit not fully understood as to who I am. And that's, and then the next part of that experience is definitely having a brain injury and people not knowing that there might be challenges that I'm dealing with internally that they can't perceive externally. So that fear of judgment. Yeah.
People underestimating you because of that.
Yeah. And projecting shit at you that might not be relevant.
Very good.
Yes.
So that was perfect. And now we would love to hear from you. What is a movie that has had a big impact on you, or are there a couple? Can you see a common thread? We'd love to hear that reflection in the comments below. Let us know.